Hey, I'm Mark.
And I'm Craig.
And even though we look different, we're still the same, but a little bit of difference. What's going on, Craig?
Yeah, man, I'm still on the road, Mark, and I wanted to just pull over, and that's why I don't have my seatbelt on, because I am pulled over. Not by anybody,
Well,
just
that's
pulled over
good.
myself.
That's good to know. Yeah. Yeah.
We got Craig Campbell part 2. Craig Campbell, the publicist, who is also works with Craig Campbell, the country superstar. And part 2 is going to
Nothing
be
confusing about that.
nothing at all. It's nothing at all. And this next episode is awesome. We've got 3 episodes total. So what do you say, Mark?
All right. Episode 2. Let's do it.
Mark, I think the fans are the same way. I think the fans,
Agreed.
the country fans, are more apt to connect to you and then
Agreed.
follow you and stay with you for a long time. I do. One of my clients is the country music cruise publicity clients, and it's more older country artists, more older traditional, and these people love being on the cruise. And actually, the company does 9 music-themed cruises. They're all pretty much geared toward baby boomers, people who grew up loving music, buying music. Nobody markets to them anymore, and they have money.
Yeah.
So this cruise company has found those people, and they sell out all these different cruises.
That's phenomenal.
Because those songs that you guys write takes them someplace. It brings them back to a memory.
That's it. Yeah, the 80s and the 90s for the boomer were kind of and partially 70s, I guess, but yeah, it's for sure. I'm trying to think if I want to name names here. I won't name names. But there's a singer, a singer who's super popular, kind of near the top of everything. And his brother is also in the industry and doing really well, but his dad is in town, and his dad is the one that brought the 2 brothers out, drove them out. And a buddy of mine, we're talking about connecting the dots. Everybody knows, because Jim Mazza,
Yeah.
I don't know if you've met Kevin yet. Kevin Daugherty, do you know Kevin yet?
Do you know Kevin Doherty?
No. You connected us, but I
Okay,
have not
that's
met
right.
him.
Well,
Yeah,
you will.
you guys need to go have
Yeah.
breakfast. You guys had hit it off.
Yeah. Kevin's. We've known him for 30 years. Just a great bud.
He's top of the heap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And but everybody knows everybody. My old manager from my 1970s rock and roll days lives in Nashville, and he just connected me up with this particular guy. He's the dad of these 2 superstars. And his dad is he's from Louisiana, and he's a songwriter, and he's writing, and he's hanging out with Luke Combs and people like
Yeah.
that right now, just because of who his son is. And so I got hooked up with him, and he's, and I just love the whole business of that. Mark and I talk about that all the time, about how you just never know who the next person is going to be.
You don't.
No.
You don't.
Well, I met Craig. I told you the story, but I'll mention it on the podcast here. I met the other Craig Campbell, the singer, because back when he had just gotten his deal, was it with Stiegel?
Bigger picture. Yeah.
Yeah, and I believe Keith was producing Alan Jackson at the time, and then he got hold of Craig Campbell, and I told them. And now Craig doesn't sound like Alan Jackson, but he also doesn't sound like Willie Nelson. He sounds closer to Alan than he does to,
Yeah.
And I said, I need a singer to sing a particular song, and I want it to be in the vein of Alan. They said, well, we got a singer that just got a record deal, and he could pull it off. And they said, let me check and make sure he can do it with his producer, see if he's able to do it. And he could. It was like right at the very tail end of where he was able to do demos, before it was all official.
Right.
And that's how I met Craig. And that was 20 years ago. When did Craig get his deal? Do you know exactly?
I think it was 2009, because I
Was it '09? Yeah.
Yeah, because
Okay.
I was still at Sony the end of '07 when I was trying to get people to go see him play at the stage. So
Yep.
I'm pretty sure it was '09.
That sounds about right. That sounds about right because that's about when I wrote that song. Yep. Yep. And
Well, I was gonna say I have the exact same story with Jamie O'Neill.
Really?
I've got demos. I've got probably 10 songs that she sang on my demo right before she got signed.
Wow.
And I mean, I literally, I still, I remember the last song that she sang for me, and um, I remember 6 months later hearing "There Is No Arizona" on the radio and thinking, "Holy cow, man, I know her." And so, I mean, that's the other thing. You don't know, who's going to be a star. I mean, the guy singing your demo maybe, next, in 2 months be on the radio.
That's right.
So it's such a
You
cool
don't know.
thing.
You know,
You don't,
I told you guys in the beginning that I met Billy Ray before Achy Breaky came out. His manager brought him by our office, and he had the mullet and he had a gray tooth, and I thought, I don't think this is gonna work.
Mullet. No.
yeah.
It worked.
It worked.
And
Well,
that dadgum video
Oh yeah.
was
Well,
probably responsible for it, wasn't it?
Yeah.
well,
Yeah. I'll take credit for it.
yeah,
Okay.
we all have stories like that, Craig.
Yeah.
When I was in Athens the same time REM was there, and I saw REM open up for somebody at some fraternity bash or something right before they got signed. And I remember thinking, "Oh, I don't see it. These guys are terrible." I mean, they couldn't play their instruments. I mean, they were, and then, 2 years later, they opened for the Police at Shea Stadium. So that
Yeah.
shows you what I know.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, I mean,
Well,
we've all
you
got
guys know Kelsey Ballerini.
Oh God, I
She's
love her. I think
huge
she's
now.
great.
She went to high school with my daughter. So she was over here one night when she was probably 14,
Mm.
and my wife said, "You see the little blonde hair girl sitting in the corner? Her family moved here because she wants to be a country artist." And I went like this, "That's cute." That was it. That was it.
Yeah, kinda worked out well for her too.
Yeah.
You just, we've got Mark and I work with a publisher out in Los Angeles, and he always tells us, he says, you never know who the next person is going to be that, is going to, you always want to be cordial. You want to be nice. You want to be polite, not because they're anybody, but just because
Yeah.
this is how the business is. And it's a human thing to do. I mean,
Sure.
besides the normal, this is how God
Yeah.
intended us to be.
Right.
That's part of it.
Right.
So correct me if I missed it. I may have missed it. We were talking about publicists, and did we actually get into management? Have we
Well, we
discussed that?
A little bit, just the ones I've worked with.
Well, not necessarily who you worked with, but what does that mean? What does
What's
a
the difference
manager do?
between I mean, talk about being a manager versus being a
Yeah.
publicist.
Yeah,
A
that's what I
manager,
mean.
and again, it's like every other area of our business. Managers can mean different things to different artists.
Sure.
A
Mhm.
lot of times, and what I've done with artists is take a new artist, which I love. One of my favorite things is being with an artist when they do something for the first time, whether it's playing the Opry, or I was with the Chicks when they played their first sold out arena date on the Fly tour. So that's what I love. But the manager is really the person who connects the artist. If the artist doesn't have a label, they're the ones who are going to connect that artist with the A&R person at the label. They're the one who connects the artist with the booking agent. And then when they get the record deal, or when they get the booking deal, or when they get the publishing deal, it's playing mom, dad, babysitter, making sure that they're doing what they need to, because they don't necessarily know that much about what needs to be done. So that's the manager that's kind of the mentor and the educator on okay, here's what's going to happen when you open for this when you open for whatever artist. Say it's a mid-level artist that this artist is opening for. you as the manager is going to be, you're going to be the one saying, you're going to get on there. This is not your tour. This is not your house. None of this is yours. You're a guest here. So you're going to get on there on time and you're going to finish a minute early and get off stage. So it's that kind of thing. It's educating the artists on, educating them on everything that's happening with radio or with, every different aspect of their career. That's the manager is doing the education part.
That makes it. Well, two of the most popular managers that even the normal public would know, of course, would be Brian Epstein from the Beatles.
Oh yeah.
And then the Colonel with Elvis, right?
Yeah.
Right. And
that's a whole nother level there.
And I know with me being, I've had my own bands, and I've always been like, I like to run it. I like to make sure that and I understand that, that would have been something that I could have done, because I understand that get there on time, look the part, don't act
Brush
like a
your
fool.
teeth, don't show up looking like you just woke up with a hangover.
Right, right.
Or wake up with a hangover.
Yeah, don't wake up right. That's right. And make sure you wake up. But that's interesting. So a manager probably would be the guy or the lady that would get the publicist. It would be the first. Yeah.
I mean,
first set.
They're the chief champion.
Yeah. Yeah.
Martha Earls, who manages Kane Brown, Martha was she was a bulldog. It was morning, noon, and night with her, helping him get his record deal, and then just, helping coordinate everything after his, and today. I mean, she's an amazing manager.
That's cool. So you've got 3 artists that I know of, because they've all 3 been on our podcast, Tennille, Craig Campbell, and Jamie. And those 3 artists have brand new things going on right now that we want. Would you mind just letting everybody know what's going on with them? They've all got some brand new projects that everybody needs to know about. So I'll let you do the itemized list.
Jamie she just released her first album in January, first album in about 5 years she released, and she's just such a great singer. And a great interpreter of your songs, and so it's just a great record. So what I did with her is just let people know that album was out, trying to get album reviews, making sure that her booking agent had the tools that they needed, bullets in their guns, so they could go out and help her get dates. Craig released his first single to radio right about a year ago, and really spent most of last year promoting that to radio. So he was visiting radio stations. He was doing shows for radio stations. And then this year he's back to just, he said he's got a whole bucket full of new songs, and he's just this whole year he's just gonna be releasing new songs.
Yep.
I'm sure he told you about his, he's got 2 coffee shops now.
Yeah, he did.
He's got one about in Eagleville, Tennessee, which is probably 45 minutes from Nashville. And in November, he opened one in Shelbyville, Tennessee, which is, I don't know, a little over an hour from Nashville. But he's putting a lot of time into that. He's got another one opening, if it's not the end of this year, beginning of next year, on 30A on the Florida Panhandle.
In Florida, that's right.
Yeah.
You told us about.
Yeah.
Now he's got a new song too. There's a drink for that.
Yep.
That's a great tune.
I love that song. I can't believe that song hasn't been written.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, it has now.
Yeah. And speaking of that, Tennille just released, as we were talking about earlier, Don't Ruin Flowers, and it's like, nobody's written that.
I know.
We're guys. And
well, we're guys, but as a writer, I thought, oh my God, why didn't someone think of that?
Yeah.
But I'm guilty of bringing home flowers or sending flowers because I've done something wrong. But
but turning the tables on it and telling that, taking that different approach was genius.
Right,
genius.
Man. Yeah,
I love it. Hey, this is Craig with Songwriter's Tales. What does Stevie Nicks, Blackfoot, Ricky Medlock, and a band called Mother's Finest have to do with each other? Well,
The bass player is named Wizard. He's an old friend of mine, and he's on our show. Episode number 9. Check it out, folks.